Now, my first question to you is this. Do I sound like I'm from somewhere else? I sound like I was more or less born and raised here, yes? Now, how many times in the course of my life do you think someone has walked up to me and said, "So where are you from?" Now, here's reality for me, and how I'm going to receive the question and how I'm going to react to the question has an awful lot to do with my lived experience, right? If I had just immigrated I'm 41 years old this year. If I immigrate from India when I'm 36, and people say, "Where are you from?" I'm guessing they want to know because maybe I have an accent, maybe I have different cultural traits. But when someone's asking me, it's a different question. Does everybody understand that? Right. So when I was a little kid, and people would say, "So where are you from?" I knew what they were asking. I didn't always like it. But out comes the answer: India. Now, with all the information we generally get about India, does everybody get, usually we hear about poverty and strife of some sort or another. So when you're growing up, you don't always learn to be proud of that. So they would say, "Where are you from?" I would say, "India." And then as I start getting older, and I'm hitting my teens now, and I've been asked into the hundreds of times by complete strangers who have no business asking me, because it's personal information, right? They say, "Where are you from?" And I'm starting to get a little snotty because I'm a teenager. And I say, "Scarborough." Do you think the questions stop? No. What is the next question? Thank you very much. Where are you really from? So my response would be, India. Then I hit my late teens, early 20s, went to university, started learning about some of the dynamics of diversity and oppression and all of those things, racism, sexism, all those things. And I'm getting irritated. Because now you can imagine after 20 some odd years of this nonstop barrage, it's tiring. So at that point, I developed all these wonderful strategies. They say, "Where are you from?" I'd say Scarborough. They'd say, "I'm sorry, where are you really from?" "Oh, I misunderstood you. Aurora." But do the questions stop? What's the next question? Thank you. Where is your heritage land? Where is your family from? Does everybody understand when they go to that question, they weren't asking me if I was from Scarborough? See, I always get that when I do presentations, when I facilitate presentations around diversity issues. There's always someone who puts their hand up and says, "Well, maybe they just wanted to know where you were living." If that was the case, the question stopped when I say Scarborough. Does everybody get that? Right. So every once in a while, when I'm in the mood and I'm feeling kind of fun, if they say, "Where are you from?" people I don't know say, "Where are you from?" I say, "China." "Well, I'm sorry, where are you really from?" "China." "No, where's your heritage land?" "China." "What's the problem?" See, people have a propensity to categorize. That's how our brains work. Our brains function trying to map things out to make them things we understand. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. And it's not just the race piece. You understand this. How many women in this room would be okay if I walked up to you and said, "How much do you weigh and how old are you?" Right? There's nothing intrinsically wrong with the questions. Now, I just saw a woman in the room. I wouldn't care. I'm sure there's probably 5 or 6 or maybe 20 women in the room who wouldn't care. Does that make it okay for me to ask all the rest of you? Unlikely, right? Unless I have a death wish. It's not something I'm going to be asking. There are these subtle differences in how we have to learn how to engage people. Now, the important piece here is I don't want you to get trapped. Because sometimes there are those folks who are genuinely interested, right? They're not trying to be hurtful. You're generally interested. You want to know these things. You ask people where you're from because you're interested. There's a gap between intent and impact, folks. I don't want you to stay in intent, because it's few and far between you have people who generally intend to cause harm. But we have to start looking at impact. Now, I was doing this session on anti-oppression, diversity, and there was a 40-ish-year-old black woman who was sitting in the corner. We were having this discussion about the "where are you from," and she was giggling the whole time. The whole time she was just giggling. So she's got a story to share. So when I was finished, I said, "Yvonne, have you got something you want to share?" She goes, "Absolutely." Do you know what I tell people now when they ask me where I'm from? Because it's irritating. I said, "What's that?" She goes, "They say, 'Where are you from?' And I say, 'A vagina.'" It shuts them up right away. They don't talk to me again. They don't say another word. I don't think I'm ever going to get to the place where I'm going to scream out "a vagina," but that. We learn what's right and wrong. We learn what's safe and unsafe. And when put to the test, if our body, we're getting in information that's saying, I'm seeing this, and everything in my experience of the world says, that's not okay, your body puts up a fight. It's called cognitive dissonance. And you really have one or two options. Option one, rationalize your existing point and say, I'm right because. And then you get stuck in what's called the right-wrong trap, right? I'm right, they're wrong. Or you can start expanding yourself, going to places that are uncomfortable for yourself. That's the hard work that you need to do. The easiest place for me to see cognitive dissonance is in my daily life when I'm just walking down the street. So I'm not dressed in the suit all the time, and I don't look like I'm necessarily from here, right? So I see and I hear the wonderful reactions all the time, and I can see people's brains working because I sound different than I should, don't you think? I don't have an accent. It really freaks people out sometimes. If that's what they're used to seeing, it's odd for them. Now, I remember this one time, and I'll end with this. I was camping in Algonquin Park, and I was 24 years old, and I was dating a young white woman from Cobourg, Ontario at the time. And we were in a canoe, and we were canoeing along. Now, folks, I grew up here. When I go camping, I kind of look like Indiana Jones, you know? A leather, a fedora, everything but the bullwhip, right? And we're canoeing along. And these two good old Huntsville boys, they were in a canoe coming this way. Now, these guys had more beer in their canoe. I don't know how that thing was afloat. And they stopped their canoe beside us, and really nice guys, and we chatted for about an hour, and they shared their beer with us, really, really nice guys. I could see the look on the guy at the back the whole time we were talking, and his eyebrows were furrowing, and he was trying, I could see him, he was, where are you from? Where are you from? Like, the word was in there, the words, and I knew it was going to come sooner or later. I was just waiting for it. He finally did it. He sits at the back and says, so, buddy, what make are you? I wanted desperately to say a Honda. Thank you very much, folks.